Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P4 Thinking Right out here in the lab, and I'm in the book, but we at the back of the book where we doing a Q&A. How about that? We in chapter 10. We went through this book. I picked everything I could out of here. I picked poor Robin Clean's best I could. So I got to move on. But right now, let's do Q&A. I got a nice one for you. Let's go. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. It's rhetorical, but that's what I do. Tune in. If you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm your spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya be true. Right then, we're gonna do the Q&A. This is my dude, Anthony Browder. So here's the question. He at the end of the book, he did a new Q&A, and it goes, I have been lecturing on various topics pertaining to African and African American history for more than 12 years. So during that time, I have received numerous inquiries from people desiring more information on a variety of subjects, including religion, philosophy, spirituality, and the practicality of African history. Okay, this publication is concluded by sharing with you some of those most frequently asked questions and my response to them. So Q&A, the first question is to him. If the Nile Valley civilization was so great, why did it fall? And if African people were responsible for creating the civilization of ancient Egypt, why are they suffering so much today? Good question. My man said, no problem. Have a seat, relax, take the weight off. This could take a minute, but let me break it down for you since you asked. One of the first lessons in history teaches is that history is cyclical. Okay, cyclical, meaning it goes around. Historical events follow specific patterns and cycles, which, when studied, yield data that will allow you, a person, to understand the sequence of events which lead up to a specific activity and the consequences that follow said activity. In this sense, all history is a current event. Why? Because the activity which are being transpiring today were set into motion by events that were initiated at some point in time in the past. Okay? If we understand the basic reality, then we will recognize that nothing comes that stays, nothing that comes stays, and nothing that goes is lost. Philosophical, yeah, I get you. But great civilizations have risen and fallen since the beginning of time. And contrary to what many theorists may wish to believe, civilizations did not begin at a primitive level and rise steadily. producing cultures which were more sophisticated than the one that preceded them. Wrong. On the contrary, au contraire, mon frère, as my man would say in the French mode, once a great civilization fell, it took hundreds of years before one of equal or greater significance ever evolved. Dark Age, remember them days? Such as the case with Kemet, a civilization which lasted more than 3,000 years, right there, of harmonious living, righteous, independent living amongst themselves. They were the happiest people you can imagine. Why? They had no outside influence, no outside forces. That's why. And everybody who done that had the pleasure of that. But once that streak was broken, never to be repaired again. Watch this. Now, they did this for 3,000 years, harmony. Just think about this. America, we ain't but 206 years old. It's crumbling at the pieces right now. We listen right now, the day is falling apart. But imagine that. We're talking about thousands of years, not hundreds. No, thousands of harmonious living. That's Eden. And we knew about that concept. Okay, so that's where it comes from, if you want to just know. That's the whole idea of Eden, starting to commit. All right. But many great civilizations of our ancient world have risen and fallen, but none have endured as long as that of Cometians. Okay? Nobody had to run at 3,000 years. Okay? The United States of America is only 216 years old and is currently recognized as what? The mightiest nation on earth, according to your president. But her power, the true economical and technological influence have waned and have been waning significantly during the last 30 years. The Roman and the Byzantine empires have fallen, and the worldwide influence of the Spanish, the British, French has diminished considerably also. Many historians and political scientists suggest, now just according to history, that a similar fate now confronts what? United States, white America. The demise of great civilizations is not unique to Kemet or in our Africa. It is a fact of life. Okay? Get with it. But how one deals with these facts is another matter entirely. It determines your perception of reality and influences your ability to act and live. I'm happy to be in this right here. Why? I'm free to do it as I'm doing now. But that's an issue with white America. But most agree I'm pretty much free, and I can live with that. I'm making the best I'm making do. But the people before me, I know my history. It was a struggle just to be black, just being black, and that just ain't fair. But again, to my fairness in life. But when your complexion, your skin puts you in an unfair advantage, it makes it hard. That's what I'm saying. But watch this. And now, again, to prove how the white man is, I tell you, his biggest fear, the biggest nightmare, is that the black man would take control and enslave him, like he did the black man. If he hadn't enslaved the black man, he wouldn't have that nightmare. He created his own nightmare. Moving on, that's some side explaining. So it ain't got to do with us, okay? Karma takes care of that. We just the benefactors of that. Remember, for us, I know our history, and that man, I wouldn't want to. I know my soul, my spirit been around. So, but I cringe. Think about how could somebody just treat somebody like that? Moving on. That's all. I get caught up with that. My emotions, I get empathetic about that. Don't make no sense nowhere. But with regards to the current status of the African people today, we must never forget what they call the MAFA, MAAFA, or what they call the Great Disaster, which has befallen the African continent. What you mean? They came, they took, They destroyed the continent from the outside in. They came in and destroyed everything. Watch this. The continent African people worldwide, with what? The exception of the Native Americans and the Native Australians, no other people on earth have had their continent snatched, raped, molested, torn apart away from them by foreigners. What the fascination of people coming doing that to us, I have no idea. Africans were the only people to have been enslaved and exported to other continents by the millions. Millions. These actions have depleted the human and natural resources of Africa as a people. We everywhere, we don't, and that's by design, while simultaneously developing them in what? In Europe and America. We are still experiencing the repercussions of those events thousands of years ago. That is still lingering. What that tell you? That can't be good, okay? Although the total number of Africans stolen from their homeland, Africa, varies greatly according to who, the source, and who's telling. But from source to source, we can conservatively just ballpark, as they said, just estimate that the minimum of 50 million people. The Holocaust, we lost 6 million Jews. And y'all owe them the world. We ain't gonna talk about Leopold. I know all the history, and we're gonna bits and pieces. But let's talk about this. 50 million people were displaced. That's just a ballpark figure. Okay? Now, when you consider the fact that 1/3 of those enslaved Africans who never survived what? The transatlantic journey. Okay? And the number of them who did survive, approximately 1/3, died during the seasoning or the breaking in process, where we all are therefore talking about the death total of more than 80 million. That's a lot of people. But who gives a damn? Why? Because it ain't them. When it ain't you, it's easy to dismiss. It's easy. But the concern and empathy and compassion for other people, that man don't have at all. 80 million people. These figures do not even take into account and consideration the millions of Africans who died before they were loaded aboard the slave ships, or the number of men, women, and children who were raped, beaten, and killed, put to death, lynched once they arrived in the New World. Total horrible mistreatment of a human being by another human being. H.G. Wells scared the hell out of y'all, okay, with the concept of aliens. Why? The aliens, okay, let's substitute aliens for black people. Watch this. H.G. Wells' classic novel, War of the Worlds, exemplifies what? The deep-seated racist fear that the white man, Europeans, have that what? Aliens, or in this case, the black man, would do to them if they have done to others. They're not saying the black race, but their fear is the black race. But they really give it to what? An alien race to compensate for their what? Iniquities, so they don't have to pay the black race reparations or be responsible for their actions. Oh, don't worry. Karma takes care of that. So imagine an alien nation. Okay? No, imagine a black nation waking up, getting their stuff together, and then attacking white America. And then what? Enslaving those inhabitants. Imagine This means black people taking the Washington Monument, the Golden Gate Bridge, and the Statue of Liberty and putting them in what? In their park and public squares. And the black areas. How about that? How about that? How about the script flip? That's their worst nightmare. That scares the living bejesus out of them. Why? Because they know what they've done. Only time guilt has any merit is when what? You've already done something that you know you're guilty of. And when you mistreated people, you are got no kick coming. Moving on. But visualize what? A black race or a black scientist exhuming the bodies of dead white presidents, putting them on display in their museums, in the galleries. How you like that? How we go dig up all y'all past great American leaders and put them on display like y'all did ours? But like that, what? No, that's be wrong. But you did it. And then imagine this. Black children sitting in their classrooms discussing, the lives of the primitive white Americans who at one time was in control of blacks. In many respects, truth is stranger than fiction. Remember black people. Remember my people. We was a great race of people before that white man came and got involved. Remember that. No, just remember that. So all that, we slaves and we were less than a human being, that's his perception of us. That's not ours. Okay, so we as black people must be aware of that impact. And this is important right here. I know a lot of people don't know this, that the Berlin Conference, meaning a group of white men, had an African conference, had African people. They had a conference. All white people talked about all black people. No black people involved. They took the continent of Africa and divvied it up. Between 1884 and 1885, 14 European nations came together in Berlin, Germany, okay, and agreed to stop fighting amongst themselves, each other, for now the possession of what? Africans, black people. These supposedly civilized white men decided to end the slave trade, not because it was the moral thing to do, no, the ethical and right thing to do. They didn't stop the slave trade for that, but because now they were going to be the ones making what? That money. So America become what? Wealthy. Off the backs of what? The blacks, Native Americans, whatever you want to call them. But they all agreed to create a system. This is when it all started, called colonization. Y'all call it Christianity, religion. But the colonization of a race of people to enslave, manipulate, and mistreat them started. And the entire African continent was dissected, sliced, diced, and made to their liking without any consent of the black people in Africa. How could you do that? What kind of people, what make you think that's civil at all? What makes that civil? Don't tell me they were civil men. No, it wasn't civil. So, let me take this home. I'm getting no personal here. So I don't got a little time. I'm gonna finish up with some good stuff here. See this here? This is what they call a billfold for the black man back in 1851. Okay? To tell them, watch out, here they come. Like in the hood, I come up. When the police came, when 5-0 came, when he turned my block, I knew at the end of the block that he was coming, way before he got to me. Okay? That's just old school, how we drum, drum. That means they hear, okay? That's our way of communicating. We had that forever. Okay, let me write this up for you. But they all agreed to split Africa the continent up to their liking. So they was in pretty much control of our resources. That's why now Burkina Faso and Mali, all them kicking out the white man and the French out. Why? Because they've been riding our backs and juicing us for years. That's why. Okay, watch this. So Africa was subsequently divided by the representatives seated at the table in Berlin. I'm taking it home now. And the countries were giving new names. Kemet was giving Egypt. Just to give you a heads up of what they've been doing, how long they've been doing this. Watch this. They were giving new names such as the Gold Coast. What the? Oh, that's where the gold must be. The Ivory Coast, that must be where the ivory resources, natural ivory resources. French Guiana, and the Belgian Congo. What the hell? Who the hell is they? These new names reflected what? The imperialistic intent of the new colonial masters. They came to enslave a whole continent. The whole continent, lock, stock, and barrel. What the hell? It wasn't until 72 years later that Africans began to start to liberate themselves from the economical, political, and social control from the Europeans. We're doing it today. We're starting to get more and more kicking their ass out. Okay, Africa going black again. I can tell you, we want to go back to black, make Africa black again. In 1957, the year that I was born, okay, the Gold Coast became the first African nation to gain its independence. From who? How'd they lose it? And it was then renamed Ghana. After an ancient African kingdom, African Americans have been free for 127 years. And the first independent African nation has had its freedom for, you ready for this? Only 35 years. Paying attention? In reality, Africans are still, to this day, struggling for what? Their own independence. Burkina Faso, Mali, okay, and what's that other one? Mali, oh man. Moving on. But they doing their thing. Working together and using their own resources and keeping the profits. So South Africa, South America, and south of the Canadian border, the extent to which African people see the relationship between all of these struggles is the degree to which they will be able to liberate themselves. When you got the 54 continents on that Africa come together as one, can't beat them, can't touch them. They starting to realize that. And then one by one, they're starting to come together, link up, come together, link up, come together, kick out the opposer, kick out the white man, and get black. And now they're starting to realize the power, okay, that they have. Wrap it up again. I just showed you the billfold. It read, caution, colored people of Boston, one and all, you are hereby respectfully cautioned, warned, and advised to avoid conversing with the white man. Excuse me, the watchman. And at that time, those were police officers. When I was a drug dealer, if I seen police, I'm going the other way. If you're doing wrong, the last thing you want to see is the right people. So y'all try to avoid that conflict. You don't want to have, you want to just avoid that. All right. I'm always surprised. Don't make eye contact. Don't look him in the eyes. But they was warning you about the police. Okay, who were they? They were the kidnappers. Okay, the police officers of Boston. For since the recent order of the mayor, a alderman, they are empowered to act as kidnappers, slave catchers, We ain't no damn slaves. So the free man, a black man, he was still considered a slave. And you had to bob and weave, so to speak, stick and move and, get out the way and, move and groove, so to speak. Okay, they was give me the heads up. Watch this. I'll wrap it up. I appreciate it. This is too funny. And they have already been actually employed in kidnapping, catching, and keeping blacks as slaves. Taking them back. Lorderman, if you just stand around, that's considered breaking the law. Lorderman, why? Black man had nowhere to go, no job. So if they just stand around, they're going to come lock you up. Back in my day, you couldn't just stand. Now, I see the drug dealers now, they got lazy boys on the corner. They're out there just chilling. But Lorderman used to be against the law, and that's what the black man had to avoid. Just being out there to be victim of, say, nonsense. All right, taking it in. But they took him, kidnapped him. So therefore, if you value your freedom, your liberty, and your welfare, beware of the fugitives among you. Okay, the people who turn you in, people will snitch on you. Okay, rats, snitches. You know how they go. They call them confidential informants. They hide your identity so you can just keep screwing on your people. What kind of person does that? All right, but now you shun them at every possible manner. Know your friends, okay? You just can't chill. No, my man, you can't trust them. Be possible. No, beware them in every possible manner. As so many, they got hounds on the tracks of most unfortunate of your race, your people. Black people, beware. This is what they telling you. This is what they telling you. And wrap it up, take it home in big bold letters. Keep a sharp keep a sharp lookout for kidnappers, and have top eye open. Third eye, people, you going to need that one too. And this is from April 24th, 1857. That's scary. That wasn't too long ago. And look how we was living. Okay, so yeah, I've come a little ways, but this is our history. I want to get that out there for you. I got another one for you. I was answering the question. That's just the first answer to the first question. I'll be back with more. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'm having fun right now. This should be a lesson for us as a people. Know who you're dealing with. Okay, he been that way since the beginning. He ain't changed. I can attest to that. Why? I know his history. And in closing, right thing is maybe you all did to be 100, maybe 100 miles a day. So I never know my right thing to now understand how civilization rises. But nobody lasts longer than my boys in Kemet. And with that knowledge, I don't want none of my people who understand that to pass away. Be good. I'll be right back.